This is a phenomenal bike ride, and I can tell you he's so casual. This is his first time he's ever biked the full 112 miles here in Hawaii. He's never been up to the turn in Harvey. He's certainly been up there today. Doesn't he look...
Big Island surfing, whoa, 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 whoa. It's Big Island surfing and breakfast with Bob. Chee.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody, back to Breakfast with Bob St. George edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spa, Zions Bank, Quintana Roo Forum, Smart Swim Goggles, Clash Endurance, Premium Plus Sports, and, of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. The youngest pro in the race on Saturday, 23-year-old Sam Laidlow, joins us, ranked number 31 in the world. You are ranked pretty high for a youngster. How you doing, Sam?
I'm good, thanks. I'm really good now because I'm finally on your show. You know, I've been watching these since I've been the height of this table. So
you're making me feel really old. Yes, good.
Thanks a lot for still doing it, mate.
Nah, Sam, it's an honor,
I hope we have
man.
many more.
I was watching your race last week at Ironman Texas, and you know, like you're holding off. You built a lead on the run. Varga's out there, and Ben Hoffman's there, and Magnus. And next thing I know, you're out. But you were sick going in, huh?
Yeah, I mean, my numbers weren't great during race day. I didn't feel good all day, but I was leading, so I couldn't.
You can't drop out when you're leading.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, I knew something wasn't quite right already very early on the bike. But yeah, I gave it what I had, and then I wanted to carry on, but my dad, who's also my coach, was on the side of the course, and he said, no, I think we should. After 21K, I was just a mess, really. I was walking around the place.
It makes no sense when you got this coming up.
Exactly, yeah. So, no, I'm starting to come back. I feel healthy a bit more than I was in Texas. So, yeah, excited.
So, you got into the sport when?
I grew up basically doing triathlon.
Really?
I'm guessing that generation now coming through where
the Brownlee generation?
Yeah, I mean, I did my first triathlon when I was 4, so I can't really say.
4?
Yeah, okay. I can't really say I came into it, and even my parents moved to France to set up a triathlon camp business. So I grew up basically in like the perfect environment. So
my God!
Yeah, I was.
How did they get in? Were they racing themselves?
Yeah, so my dad was an old pro swimmer, and then he kind of overtrained and stuff, and was sick of the sport. So he decided to start coaching, and then he started coaching me, and yeah, I did a bit of short course on the French circuit and all that, French Grand Prix.
Yes.
But it wasn't really what I enjoyed. I've always wanted. Hawaii's always been my goal.
So you never really went down that Olympic path.
I did a little bit. Did a bit of ETU stuff and won a few races, but my heart wasn't in that.
Right.
And, so as soon as I was allowed, basically, I did my first Ironman when I was 18.
18.
Yeah, and I really enjoy Ironman. And as I said, Kona, I've always been surrounded by people come to my place to do training camps, and they would always speak to me about this race, you know, about Bob Babbitt and that, and so yeah. Now
that loser. Hopefully, you'll never end up on his show. That's what they're saying.
No, it's just a shame that we aren't in Hawaii, you know, because last year I felt like I'd finally qualified, you know, and then when it got moved, it was quite a tough blow, because for me it's
all about Kona.
It's all about Kona, and yes, this is still a World Championships, and I'm going to gain a lot of experience from this race, but yeah, from a very young age, my sights have always been Kona.
Yeah. So you watched all the TV.
I've watched all your interviews, mate, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
That's God.
But it's good because it's super. Especially a while ago, it was very difficult to get an insight into. Now athletes, they have their YouTube channels and stuff.
Yes, you find out what makes them tick.
Yeah, but before there was only your interviews. So I used to watch them, watch what they were thinking, watch different people, how they felt leading into the race, and it's interesting because people have had amazing races and come in from all different. That's
what's fascinating about it. Yeah, I mean, it used to be, you need to be short like Greg Welch to win the Ironman, and then Peter Reed then Jan Frodeno is gigantic, and it's you have to be this size or this. It doesn't matter.
I'm really passionate about the history of Kona as well. So no, certainly it's great being here, but I really hope I can see you again in Kona.
I love it. So do you need to qualify for Kona?
I do, unfortunately.
Here, shove this guy up a little first.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get it here. We'll get the slot here. That's also why I went to Texas, because So if not, I'll see what other races. Maybe Ironman Nice. Because I live in France. So we'll see.
So 2022, you 7th at Challenge to Laos, but in 2021, you second at Ironman UK. That's a pretty tough course, right?
Yeah, it's a tough course, and same again. I think I have a problem with lakes. I was leading the race with like a 10 or 15 minute lead over Joe Skipper for most of the day, and then I was with 7k to go. I still had a 10-minute lead, and like from the outside, people were saying, the spectators were saying,
It's over.
Yeah, like congrats and stuff, and then you never know with Ironman, and suddenly I start seeing all blurry, and with 7k to go, I fall to the ground.
No way.
Yeah, and I remember specifically the guy on the bike opening the race. He starts calling the ambulance, and in my head, I was like, I can't be this close to qualifying for Kona, and go home in an ambulance, because I knew that I still had like to the third place qualified because Joe was already qualified. So I just hobbled around and came second, luckily. But as again, I haven't truly done an Ironman where I've been satisfied with my race, so that's still to come.
Yeah, so you haven't had one of those races that.
Not yet. No, there's always been
you're
something.
23. Come on now. Yeah. But so in 2019, when you did Barcelona, but they were seventh.
Yeah. So in 2019, my goal was to be. I was 20, and I really wanted to be the youngest person to go under 8 hours. And I'd kind of invested too much. I'm a bit of a black or white guy, and so I was just like, 1 year before I started training really, really hard for this race, and took it far too seriously. Did a whole load of no carb eating and just messed up my immune system. And in the end, I mean, I did what I could. I did 8:04 at 20, which isn't bad. Which I like. Not many.
And you were
people
20?
Yeah, I was 20. Yeah.
It still might be one of the fastest 20-year-old times.
Oh no, it's definitely the fastest 20-year-old time. Yeah, but it doesn't really sound as good as 7:59. So yeah, but now I'm learning with experience to kind of just take it in my stride and mainly appreciate the experience of racing.
After watching racing for a lot of years, you see a lot of people who come off the bike in 25th and run their way to 10th, or they come off the bike in 18th and run their way to 7th. And that you're always thinking, oh, next year. What I always like is people who go for it, who go off the front, because you never know when that day comes where you don't collapse with 7K to go.
Yeah,
where
it's funny you say that, because like in my head I'm always like, okay, I'm going to stick to this wattage and then do the perfect race. And there's a few guys I find who they're just like natural racers, and once you put a bib on, you want to be up the front of the race. And if I blow up with 5K to go, I'd rather try to win and blow and come 10th than guarantee a 5th place. And that's just how I am. And I feel from previous races, whether it's Alistair or Frodeno, they've always raced like that. Alistair's first Olympics, he ran 7K with the front guys and nobody knew him. And so that's just how I like to race. And much to my coach, my dad's delight, he doesn't want me to race like that.
He wants to be more strategic.
Yeah.
So what's a tattoo? Is there a meaning to that one?
Yeah, so there is a meaning. I left home very early because already I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a professional triathlete. So I left home at 13. Started to go down the short course route with the federation and stuff. And I didn't see my parents a lot. I had a younger brother who was 3. He was 10 years younger, and so I missed my family a lot. And anyway, so at 18, when I decided to move out of the French system, I was just like a bit of a lost teenager, and I just got a random tattoo. And at first, I just wanted one on one side, and the tattoo was like, no, I think we should do 2 and stuff. So anyway, we did 2, and then later, so during that period, I had no money. I was trying to live in Girona, but I couldn't afford it, so I moved back home. And then later, I found out that actually it was British sailors used to get these tattoos. They would get one, like traditional British sailors. They would get one, and it would bring them luck to come back. And it's a nice story, because like now I'm back with my family, and we have a family triathlon business, and we're all involved in the process. I want my dad. I don't just want to win Kona by myself. I want the whole family to do it. So it's quite a unique situation I'm in. Yeah,
I love it. And so the Brownlees there's so many people from their Brownlee Foundation. I think they put something like 35,000 kids into the sport of triathlon. Yeah. And so all these kids, we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys moving forward, because there's a ton of them out there.
Yeah, certainly. And I think even now we've seen it quite recently, just with the PTO, how much the level's improved suddenly. I don't know in America because I don't race, but certainly in Europe, the density, just in Salou, I mean, I had a decent bike and ran 112 off the bike, and just 3 years ago, and that brought me 7th. But in a few years ago, if you did the numbers I did on the bike and ran 112, you were guaranteed a podium, if not the win. And now there's like 15, 20 guys running 112. So yeah, because all the guys from the short course are coming up to get the points. So no, it's good. It's bringing the sport to another level, and same when I was younger, I was like in my head, I was like, okay, later on I need to do 7:40, 7:35, and like now I know damn well that
7:20.
now we need to do that in Kona. You know? So
Yeah. So how does your training changed? Has it changed much over the last couple of years?
I wouldn't say I'm somebody who trains a lot. I certainly don't overtrain. I think my dad's done a great job of seeing the long-term goals. I still have a big room for improvement. And yeah, I think my dad he was overtrained himself as an athlete, so he's always been very careful of not sticking it to me too much. And if anything, he goes a bit too easy on me, I think. Yeah,
you're 23. You don't want to burn you out or too early.
Yeah, but he tells me I should drink beers and stuff a bit more. So I'm definitely the serious one, and he kind of holds me back. But if I don't have him, then I just overcook it.
You seem like that type of driven guy. You are gonna, if Dad wasn't around, you would just be training all day long.
Probably, yeah. That's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, you love it. You're doing Kona, and then in between this race and Kona, what?
No, I said I'm not qualified.
Oh, you're not qualified.
No.
Well, you'll qualify here on Saturday. Yeah. So after you qualify for Kona here on Saturday, the focus will, obviously that's the thing. But what are you looking at to do in between?
As I said, probably Ironman Nice, and then also in France we have quite a renowned Ironman, which is called Embrunman.
Yes.
So that's
you have Alpe d'Huez up there too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I like courses with big climbs in it. This isn't huge, but it's a hard, tough course. So
you like courses with character.
I like the slower the course, the better. If it's then I just feel like it's just a tough man's race, So I don't really like ideal conditions. I like it when it's a tough day out there. And like last year, I won an Ironman in Girona, and it was like 38 degrees. Cameron Worth was there. He just blew up after the 20k or something. And being a nice guy that he is, when I ran past him, he said, "Mate, just don't do anything stupid because I'm gone." So then that made me kind of realize
he's a pro.
He's a real sportsman. I like Cam. Yeah.
He was racing Challenge Roth and with Sebastian Kienle, and Sebi was feeling bad that he wasn't. Sebi was feeling bad that he wasn't sharing the workload. Yeah. And when he tried to pass Cam was like, "Sebi, why don't you sit back there and save your legs for the run?" Right? That doesn't happen much. That type of conversation doesn't happen much. But he was like, "I'm just riding tempo. So why don't you just sit back there and save your legs?"
He's himself. He's 100% Cam, and that's what I think most people should strive to be. Is just try and be themselves as much as possible.
The first time we met Cam, he had a boot on his foot. He had qualified as an age grouper for Kona, right? And he, came on the show, and he caught.
He went from the women's race to the men's. To the front of the
basically,
men's race,
he almost caught Daniela Reef during a bike, and they started. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, cool.
He's special. Obviously, you're a guy who's thought about this for a long time because you got into it when you were so young.
Yeah.
What do you want your legacy to be when you're done with this? When you look back on your career and other people look at your career, what are they going to say?
It's difficult. So maybe if you would ask me this question a year or two ago, it was like I want to win the biggest races, And then slowly I've realised that I just want to have an impact through my platform, which is triathlon.
Right.
But yeah, I want to be able to help people, whether it's getting people into sport or I just want people to remember my name and think, okay, this guy did have an influence on triathlon, on the sport of triathlon. And I think unconsciously that's what my family did. They brought me up in an ideal, and I've seen them help people come through the doors to come on a triathlon camp, and we've had all sorts of stories. So I've been inspired by that, and that's mainly it. The two main things would be to be myself and to leave an impact on the sport.
Of people who've come to your camp, is there one story of somebody came? Because I always talk about triathlon as a sport that changes people's lives.
Yeah.
For somebody who came to the camp who you probably thought, "Oh my God."
There's so many. There's guys. I feel a lot of compassion for guys that have worked like for 15 years and then finally they qualify for Kona. After so many years of just like feeling like they're not getting anywhere. But then I've had so many. We've had guys who have come and lived with us for a year, and that's completely changed their lives. But what we've realised is that yes, triathlon is what's important to them, but actually most people come out they come out to be in a where we have a very stable and nice environment. Like we have a stable family, and it's just like it's a cure for them, because they have their city lives and stuff.
Right.
So they come out and they just enjoy. We even have like some really really rich people who come in our rustic home, and like they just enjoy. Like I don't know, the simple life that we
Yes.
have, and that's difficult to keep. I think the higher up you go in terms of, in anything, it's difficult to still appreciate the smaller things. So
Love it.
Yeah.
Sam, thank you, bud. It's
Thank
such
you,
a
mate.
pleasure to get to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
We're looking forward to seeing you out there
Cool.
on Saturday.
Thanks a lot.
I love it.
Thanks, Bob.
Poncho Man, take us out.
Big Island surfing, whoa, 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 whoa. Big Island surfing and breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Thanks, everybody, for watching.